name is Abraham Great, and welcome to this platform. Here you'll be learning tips that will help you to connect the dots to your destiny, to your business, to any change of story that you want to experience. Now, these tips has the proclivity to move you into action. So get ready to do something about what you're going to be hearing right now. Are you ready? Now we're looking at tier 3. I've been talking about 6 tiers of riches. And I started by saying that everybody's actually rich, but not everyone is aware of their riches. Everyone was born with a SIM card or a seed. There's something inside of everybody, no matter the ability or disability that we have. And also I've talked about how many people have turned disability into an ability to actually make riches. I've always said also that some people are shy of riches. In fact, even mentioning the word riches makes some people think that they are committing a crime. It's not bad to wish to have riches. It's not bad to think that riches help you to be able to take care of 2 things. Number 1, your want, and number 2, your need. Yes, and I mean that. Sometimes you want things that you do not need. It is riches that will help you to be able to take to want. If not, most people stick with only their need. But by the time you get to the point of tier 3, where I'm talking to you about now, you need to be a bit more cautious and develop wisdom. Tier number 3 is the tier of riches. If you recall in tier number 2, if you haven't watched or listened to that, I want you to go back and get a grip of that. In tier 2, I talk about profit, where you have taken your seed from tier 1, your business or your talent or your gifting or your potential. You've developed them. You've developed that business into some profit as showing. But at this point, you must do something with tier 2. Profit are not to be consumed. Profit are to be invested. Write that down. Profit are not to be, so tier 2 are not to be consumed. The problem is when most people start with their seed and profits show, they begin to go on holiday. It's not yet the time to go on holiday. I've also seen a situation where I go into partnership, and once people see money, sometimes people, oh, I want you to give me something. I want you to, let's share, what have you. No, it's the time. When I see profit, it's the time that maybe I'm now thinking, let's get an office space, or let's buy an advert, or let's pay this money to do some marketing, or let's staff. When you see profit, reinvest profit into the business. The seed is giving you a sign at tier 2 that what you had from tier 1 is actually profitable, that is actually viable, that is actually wonderful. So you want to respond to that by taking that profit of tier 2, at least a portion of it. You may reward yourself, buy some ice cream, buy some Sprite. I don't take alcohol, so I mentioned those drinks that you can. Drink some organic food, or in some cases buy yourself a shirt, or you go somewhere and you buy a suit, or you buy your favorite dress. But it's not one for you to start gallivanting with. It's not one for you to start going on a spending spree. I would say invest minimum 70% of tier 2, which is profit, back into your seed, back into your talent, back into your potential, or back into that business that you have started. And when you do that, this is what you will begin to see. You will see that you move to tier 3, which is riches. And one thing about riches is simply defined as having enough of what you need to be able to have the luxury of having what you want. That's what riches is. Riches is having enough of what you need, and then you have the leverage to be able to even go as far as getting what you want. So at the level of riches, you are at the highest level of temptation to develop wealth. Because if you are not careful, most people only leave this 3 level where they develop their seed, the seed become viable and profitable, and then they take the profit into wealth. But here are the mistakes that people make. When riches showed up, there are few ways that you can channel it. Now, people mischannel riches and it becomes a problem. People often go to spending riches on liabilities. At the level of riches, you should not be proud yet. You should just be grateful. It is not a time for you to start spraying money or for you to start showing off, going on clubbing or spending lavishly. Remember I said like 60% or 70% of your profit should go back into your seed, your talent, but at the level of riches, minimum 60%. So you have leverage, you can live that life, you can do every other thing. But remember, if you're someone like me, 10% will go maybe for humanitarian or to God or to the place that you worship or what have you. Another 10% should go into maybe savings or into your retirement. But at this point, I'll not be advising you as an accountant or a financial advisor. I just want you to stick with this. Minimum 60% should go back into this, not just into your seed. When riches come, invest riches into developing wealth by buying assets. You hear that? Be careful not to fall into the temptation of buying liabilities. Do not invest your riches into the level of buying things that depreciate in value. So a car depreciates in value. And let me just give you this cheap sense. When you get to riches, you might be tempted to start going to buy, a car cash down. At the level of riches, you now have to start paying some huge task. You can release the part of task you do where if your business or your talent is the one that is funding your lifestyle. What I mean by that, the difference between the poor and the rich is that the rich pays less tax while the poor pays at source. So you have an accountant who is going to help you. And some of the things that you actually need, there are things that also your business needs, so you can do a sharing. So instead of buying a car, you can actually approach a company and lease the car. You can lease a good car that costs you less, and the revenue, maybe some percentage, and the high percentage, if you're like someone like us who do most of what we do, 80-90% of my life is spent around my calling, around my purpose. So even if I bought this suit, this right now I'm using it to shoot a video so I can claim it back. If I use a Bentley, the Bentley can be for the purpose of an advert for you. So it's for the business. If I rode BMW, it's all. So everything, so because of that, I've been able to take off a lot of things. My Range Rover or my BMW or what have you, they're all part of the business. They're all part of what the taxman or my accountant is going to be able to calculate back at the end of the business year. So please understand, at the level of riches, you must start developing, to develop wisdom. I'll say it again, riches, minimum percent of your riches, 60% should go back into buying assets. Let me say this to you. It's a time to start buying land, and it's a time to start investing in buying houses. And if you are wise, it's a time for you to also start investing in intellectual properties. It's a time for you to start trademarking your name, trademark your business, trademark your idea, trademark as many things that you can trademark that you find that this thing might become useful for you. It's also a time for you to begin to invest into people. Your business will need people to grow, but it's the time that you begin to invest into competent staff, competent people to work with you, because it's this people and it is this asset that will take you to the next tier, which I'll be discussing with you in a few minutes. And let's go into tier 4. Now, let me give you an assignment on here. List what will you do with riches when it comes. What asset are you going to buy? Remember, anything that depreciates in value, a car will depreciate in value. A phone will take money always from you because you'll be paying monthly bills. You're going to be having to, anything that you have to be servicing is a depreciating as asset. Yeah, but you want to buy a capital asset. You want to buy something. If you buy a land is never worth less than you ever paid for it. The house on it may be worth less, but the land can never be worth any less than you paid for it. So go investing into land, go investing into houses. Even if you cannot buy a whole lot, begin to have some shares. It's a time for you to start buying bonds. It's a time for you to start having shares. And it's time for you to start getting some dividends. It is working.